If you've ever tried to succeed at business and done any kind of social media or YouTube research, you've likely come across Gary Vaynerchuk. What I like is that he's a very emotionally intelligent person, and he talks about the use of gratitude to be successful in your business endeavors. But what's really interesting to me is that gratitude can also help you to be very successful in your health, wellness, and weight loss goals. And today we're going to talk about exactly how you can use gratitude to not only achieve your goals, but achieve them long term. So sustainable weight loss, sustainable health. Hello, Wellness Warriors. Welcome to Mind Blowing Health and Wellness with Violet. The reason that I make these videos is to help you to understand how mental health and physical health working well together creates that overall sense of well-being. If you're working on this kind of stuff, subscribe. I make new videos every week. When you hear Gary Vaynerchuk talk about what he's grateful for, it's so counterintuitive. He's grateful for being an immigrant and having lived a difficult childhood. He's grateful for the fact that his father worked long hours and that he had to make his own money at a very young age. First of all, when we look at the definition of gratitude, what it actually is an appreciation for something. And what I find really interesting about Gary Vaynerchuk is that he's not like the gurus that we get online that tell us to be grateful for waking up in the morning and be grateful that you have positive things happening in your life. Because guess what? Not to say that most of us don't overlook the positives that are happening in our life. I do agree with that. But being appreciative of what's going well in your life is not going to automatically change what's negative in your heart. It's not going to necessarily change the things that you struggle with on a daily basis. We all have positive things, but we all have negative things. What's interesting about Gary is he's asking us to be grateful for the negative things. And in the world of psychology and mental health, that's actually the process of acceptance and appreciation, something that I teach my clients on a very regular basis. So the basic idea is that in order to change your life, we have to manage these two basic concepts. So let's start with acceptance. This is talking about accepting where you are in whatever thing you are trying to change. So if I'm trying to change my weight, accepting where I am. If I'm trying to change my financial situation, accepting where I am. If I want to have more friends, accepting where I'm starting from. Acceptance is, in this moment, accepting my starting point. Now, I know that this seems counterintuitive, but it's crucial. If you avoid accepting your situation, you will actually not look at where am I starting from. If I don't look at where I'm starting from, then there's no way that I can actually correct this problem that's in front of me, right? Let's take a look at debt, because I want to help you to understand what I'm talking about. Of course, if I'm in debt, I can say that I hate being in debt and that I want to change that I'm in debt. And then I'm going to focus on what? Making more money. And the question becomes, will making more money equal Violet's no longer in debt? So let's say I spend the next 5 years focusing really hard on making more money, and I'm successful, and I increase my income by 5, then 10, maybe even $15,000 a year. I'm making more money. I could actually still be in debt because at the beginning of the process, I didn't accept and look at where I was in the process, and therefore I might actually not know why I'm in debt. Right? I just saw a financial issue and said, well, let me throw money at it. Okay, so what are the reasons that Violet could actually be in debt? Well, it could be that I just don't make enough money, in which case scenario A would have solved the problem. However, I could also be in debt because there's somebody in my household who has access to my money and to my credit that's spending more than I make. I could be living beyond my means. So either trying to keep up with the Joneses or being kind of addicted to buying stuff, like maybe having the latest phone all the time, the latest camera, the latest lighting. I could be living beyond my means. I could have a loan or credit card that has exorbitantly high interest rates that no matter how much I make, because my spending is going through that card, I'm never getting out of this debt. I could have an addiction, whether it be drugs and alcohol or some other activity that I'm addicted to, and I'm just spending a lot of money on that addiction every month. I might simply not be paying attention to how much money comes in versus how much money goes out. So basically, I'm not budgeting. And it could also be that I just don't know how to say no to people who ask me for money. whether that be my spouse, my friends, my children, a charitable organization, I just might not know how to say no. So, if I didn't take the time at the beginning of the process 5 years ago, when I was trying to arrange my debt situation, when I took the decision to say, I'm getting rid of this debt, to look at why I'm in debt, unless the reason was reason number one, 5 years later, $15,000 increase in my income, I might still be in debt. This is a real thing, right? I need to know where I'm starting and accept it so that I actually look at it. So when I accept my situation, I'm going to look at it because this is where I'm beginning. I've known so many people who started a new way of eating without stepping on the scale, without taking any measurements. So the problem that I see there is that I haven't stepped on a scale, I haven't taken any measurements, and now I've started a new way of eating. And a month later, how do I know if what I'm doing is working? I can't even check, right? Part of the process of fixing something is knowing how I'm improving. And if I didn't accept that this is a real issue that I have to solve and look at the real issue and figure out, well, what's causing this issue to exist in my life, then the other thing that I don't know is, have I improved or not? I have to look at my data to be able to correct and to know when the corrections are actually happening. So you might get through a month of living a healthy ketogenic lifestyle and then not actually know if you lost any weight. The other thing that happens when I accept my situation, so I accept this issue that's in front of me, it's mine. I'm interacting with this because I want to fix it. It solidifies why I'm doing what I'm doing. When I actually look at the problem, I'm going to understand why it's a problem because I'm going to ask questions. I'm going to ask, how did I get here? I'm going to ask, what contributes to me being here? I'm going to ask, how do I get out of this? I'm going to ask questions because, again, how do I solve the problem if I don't fully understand the problem that I'm trying to solve? As soon as I accept that this is my situation and I'm trying to solve my situation, solutions are what I'm looking for, and I'm going to ask the questions to find those solutions. Whether I can answer it myself, or if I need to go to see a financial planner, if it's a financial thing, or to get more information about the ketogenic lifestyle, if it's a weight, lifestyle, health thing. It isn't a quick fix situation. It's about understanding, because I'm accepting that, hey, Violet's here, but she'd like to be over there. Okay, how do I get from here to there? That's going to take time. That's going to take effort. That's going to take work on my part. So I need to understand, what am I actually doing to get there? What's really frustrating to me sometimes is that when people hear, accept where you are, they think it means because I have to stay there. Actually, that's not the case. In the world of psychology, we want you to accept where you are because it's only when I know where I'm starting from that I can really look at, well, how did I get there? And then when I know how I got there, I could understand all the different processes that got me there and all the different things that I'm going to do to get to where I actually want to be. When we're trying to lose weight, there are actually physical repercussions to being at the heavier weight. And it affects how easily I can do things, for example, with my daughter, with my friends, with my family. It affects the clothes that I wear. It affects the ease with which I interact socially. So that also means it affects the friends I have and how many friends I have. It affects how much time I devote to going out and meeting new people versus not. It affects the way that I travel, because the heavier that I am, the less comfortable I am in certain public situations. So public transportation, airline travel, bus travel, right? Like it affects everything. That'll even affect like the kind of vehicle that I purchase. It affects the clothes that I buy. So there are physical repercussions to being heavier. As well, there are emotional repercussions to being heavier, right? Because it affects how I feel about my body, which then affects how I present myself to other people. Again, affecting my social, right? Could also affect my couple status. Am I single or not can be affected by how I feel about my size. So the second part of this process is the gratitude part, or as I like to call it, the appreciation. And I agree, we need to appreciate the positive things that are happening in our life, as well as appreciate the negative things that are happening in our life. So if I accept that I'm in debt, and I appreciate that keeping up with the Joneses is what actually caused me to be in debt, Or perhaps not knowing the interest rate on that stupid credit card that I was using was crazy high, 30 something percent, was keeping me in debt. I start to understand how earning more money wasn't actually going to lead to me diminishing my debt, especially if I earned more money and just felt more compelled to keep up with the Joneses, or earned more money but was still passing all of my purchases through that credit card. Taking the time to appreciate the fact that, oh, it's the credit card that's causing the problem, and then changing the credit card opens the door to me solving my debt problem, or realizing that by trying to buy everything my neighbor has, or trying to have the latest camera all the time, or the latest gear was causing my debt, then I can actually do something about changing these habits so that my debt is diminished. Knowing that I'm overweight in an ashamed and avoidant way will not actually lead to sustained weight loss. However, accepting that I'm overweight allows me to start looking at, okay, what's causing my overweight? And all of a sudden, I might learn, as I did learn, that my distaste for cooking was causing me to purchase convenience foods, so reheatable meals and fast food restaurant eating, hence leading to my excessive weight, hence leading to my inflammation issues. So I was able to appreciate how eating this way was causing my body to be in a negative situation. And as soon as I understood that, now I knew what I needed to solve. Now I also did appreciate, through learning about inflammation, that carbohydrates cause inflammation and weight gain. That was another piece of the puzzle that I wasn't even looking for at the time. But again, by appreciating that information, I was able to focus on it and make changes. It's so important for us to understand how accepting and appreciating a situation allows us not only to find the answer, but then it gives us a reason to keep that answer at the front of our mind when we need to address that problem. Every time I go to make a purchase, if I stop and ask myself, do I really need this purchase, or am I just buying it because so-and-so has it? I open the door that I don't make a bad purchase. And if every time I go to eat something, I focus on the fact that, Violet, when you were not cooking, you had a bad result, and therefore I make sure that I cook something that's carbohydrate light, because I also learned that, and make sure that my meals are healthy, then I keep myself in a positive weight and health situation. So many people comment on, Violet, you have so much willpower. You have so much, you're so strong to have stayed keto for 2 years and kept your weight where it is. And it's not about me being strong. I actually appreciate what carbohydrates do. So negative, I appreciate what they do to my body. It's a negative thing, and I get it, and I appreciate it. I understand it. I focus on it. I accept it. I don't try to get around. There's no quick fix. I don't try to get around these things. I allow myself to remember that every time I go to get a meal. Every time. To the frustration of my family, to the frustration of my friends, right? To anybody who wants to go out to a meal with me that's not Patrick, they understand that, well, not Patrick and my kids, they understand that Violet is not going to deviate from her eating pattern. So it's either you want to go out with me, choose supper, or you want to go out with me, choose a coffee. But Violet's not going to deviate from her eating patterns to please anybody else, because that hurts who? Violet's health. I wasn't angry to learn that carbohydrates are not food. They're poison, toxin. I wasn't angry to learn that years I was maybe I was a little bit angry to learn I was poisoning myself, but I got over that real quick because I was just happy to have learned the information. I'm not angry that I gave up fun foods, because I don't think I gave up anything fun, because it wasn't fun feeling inflamed and painful and hurt and oh my goodness all the time. I don't feel any negative towards this. I'm grateful that today I know what was causing my problem, and I can live the rest of my hopefully 60 years. Yeah, I want to live past 100. The next 60 years healthy, feeling good, enjoying myself. I didn't get to do it from 22 till 43. I didn't get to do it. I want to do it for the next 60. I achieved the reduction in the inflammation, which was the reason I started this diet after 3 months. Had I just said, oh, great, no more inflammation, I went back to eating the way that I was eating, I would be back to an inflamed situation. And the only reason that I was able to see that was because I accepted what was causing the inflammation. And I appreciated that information. So I was thankful, I was grateful, I appreciated, I understood that that way of eating caused my problem. And if I wanted to stay healthy, because I do, and I plan to stay healthy, put down those carbohydrates. By accepting my starting point, I've gained and maintained my better health. You can do it too. I want to thank you for watching Mind Blowing Health and Wellness with Violet, and I want to encourage you to share this video. Everybody needs to understand that by accepting and appreciating your starting point, you can change your health and maintain your health long into the future. Share the video, share the video, share the video. I can't wait to talk to you guys again next week.